Hi, welcome to Biology 1401. My name is Dr. Laura Anna C., and I'm going to be your professor this semester. I am so glad that you're joining me for biology. This is a very fascinating subject. There are changes that are occurring all the time in biology, so we're always learning new things. I kind of consider biology to be a sampler science, so we're going to go through a lot of different topics this semester. We're going to touch on things like genetics, on the cell cycle. We'll talk a little bit about cancer. We will talk about ecology, microbiology, fungi, diseases, organ systems, chemistry. There's going to be a lot of different topics this semester, and pretty much every week is going to be something new. So if you like one thing or you don't like another thing, keep in mind that it will be changing throughout the semester. The importance of biology is it'll help you understand the world around you. In particular, your knowledge of enzymes and how the process in the cell works, how the cell organ functions, will help you as you understand how drugs affect your system, medications. The other benefit is when we talk about the organ systems, you'll understand how they normally function. So how the heart normally functions, how the lungs normally function. And this will be very useful to you if you ever are sick and you're talking to a doctor, or your family member is sick, or your pet is sick and you're talking to a veterinarian. And you can understand better what's going wrong with the disease if you understand what's supposed to be happening in that organ. So you'll understand kidney failure better once you understand how the kidney works in the first place. And it will make sense to you how that professional is going to be treating your pet or your family member or yourself based off of the disease process in that organ. Another way that biology is helpful to you is a little bit more abstract, but anytime you exercise your brain trying to learn new material or difficult material, that actually strengthens your brain, so you become more intelligent. At the end of the semester, you'll be more intelligent than when you started the semester. It will help you in your thinking process and your logical thinking skills, your critical thinking skills. This is a great class to kind of hone those senses, even if you're not a science person. So let's talk a little bit about how the class is organized. It is an online class, which means you'll be taking your exams online, your quizzes online. You'll also be doing lab exercises that are online. However, even though that's true, you still need to have the textbook and the lab manual to do this class. You will have assigned textbook readings. You need to have the textbook as a resource. Your exams will come from the textbook. And then the lab manual is going to have an access code associated with that so that you can log into the online labs and complete those lab exercises. So check the syllabus, or you can go to the DBU website for the bookstore to find the ISBN number for the textbook and for the lab manual, but you will need both of those, and you need them right away as soon as the semester starts. We have reading right off the bat from the textbook, and then we have a lab the second week of the semester, so you need to get those immediately. All right, let's talk a little bit about how the class is going to be set up. So got a little handout here. The way the class is going to be organized is there's going to be in Blackboard a weekly folder. That weekly folder will have the dates listed, so you know kind of which week we're on at any given time. And in that weekly folder, you'll find everything you need for that week's assignments. You're always going to have an assigned textbook reading and a study guide to fill out as you're reading through that material. You don't turn in the study guide. That's for your use and your help as you're working through the material. You can use that as a study guide for exams, things like that. You'll also have, most weeks, a weekly lab exercise. That is on a website, a specific website separate from Blackboard. There will be a link to it in the Blackboard folder, but you'll go there, you'll do the lab exercise where you work your way through slides and fill in your lab manual as you're going, and then you'll turn in the lab exercise through Blackboard, through the system. There'll be a separate video that shows you how to do that. After you've submitted the lab exercise, then you'll come and you'll take a quiz. And typically it's a lab quiz, so it's usually over the lab. The lab quiz, just like the exams for the rest of the semester, are closed note, closed neighbor, so you should not use any outside assistance to take those. Make sure that you do submit the lab exercise before you take the lab quiz. That is very important. So if this were an in-person class and we were in lab, you would not be allowed to just show up at the end of lab and take the quiz without having actually done the lab exercise. So we're holding true to that with the online class. You must do the lab exercise first, and then take the quiz. If you take the quiz and have not submitted the lab exercise, I will go back in and change your quiz grade to a 0. So keep that in mind. You have to do both to get that credit. There will also be a weekly discussion board where there's a topic that you're going to research on your own, and I'll have some questions for you, some kind of discussion starters to start that topic off. Treat that as you would questions in a job interview. So these should be very professional responses. You should take time to research the topic and be thoughtful in your response, and you should respond to other students that have posted in that discussion board as well. For you to get full credit on that discussion board post, you must have your initial post up by Thursday at midnight. And the reason for that is because we don't want everybody posting at the very end of the week on Saturday, because you won't have time to read other people's posts and respond back to them. So to get full credit, you have to have gotten your initial post done, at least one, by midnight on Thursday, and then you also need to have several posts kind of throughout the week. And I'll go through the discussion board grading rubric in a separate video, but just keep that in mind that Thursday midnight is the deadline for that first post so that you can get all of your credit for the discussion board. There will be 4 section exams kind of spaced throughout the semester. They'll be over the material in the textbook, and that material will come from the study guide, from the textbook, from the PowerPoint lectures. Any of that is fair game, so if it's in your textbook, it's considered an option to be on the exam, even if it's not listed somewhere else, so keep that in mind too. And then at the very end of the semester, there'll be a comprehensive final exam. It will be more heavily weighted towards the material you have not been tested over yet, but it will have material from the entire semester on there as well. It is comprehensive. As you are going through Blackboard, if you have any questions on what you need to get done that week, or you're not sure where something is, please feel free to email me. And that brings us to our next point, which is contact the professor, me, through email or through my cell phone. So in the syllabus, you'll have my cell phone listed. The cell phone is meant to be used for emergencies. So if you're in the middle of an exam and your computer crashes and you need for me to reset it or something along those lines, then you should probably text or call me. Otherwise, use the email to communicate with me. The policy for DBU is that you'll have a response to your email within 48 hours after you send it. I typically try to do that within 24 hours, so most days I'm checking my email at least once a day to get those replies back to you in a timely manner. Now, this does bring up a good point, which is if there's a deadline coming up, don't wait until the last minute to email me a question because I may not get it in time. If I've already checked my email for the day, I may not get your email in time to answer it before the deadline, so just kind of keep that in mind. It's better not to wait till the last minute to do your assignments. And speaking of deadlines, for this class, and this may be different from your other online classes, but for this class, there is no late work accepted, and the deadline for all of your weekly assignments, so everything that's in that folder for your assigned week, is going to be midnight on Saturday. Okay, I know a lot of online classes go through Sunday. That's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to go through Saturday. And the reason for that is kind of twofold. Primarily, it's because we're instructed in the Bible to keep the Sabbath holy. It's supposed to be a day of rest, not a day of working. So I don't want to work on class stuff on Sunday, and I really don't want you working on class stuff on Sunday either. So I really want you to get everything submitted by Saturday midnight. Also, this kind of forces you to stay organized and stay on top of things because no late work is accepted. So this is one of the skills that we're trying to teach you in the biology department, is time management skills. So making sure you stay on top of everything each week. And there's actually a sample schedule listed in Blackboard. You can kind of see it if you scroll through the introductions page, the begin here page, for studying and for getting stuff done. So you can kind of take that as a guideline and then you can adjust it to fit your schedule. Now, I don't accept late work after the add drop date of the semester. So if you come into the class a week later, like you're added to the class a week after everybody else has started, then if you contact me, you can make up the work you've missed because you weren't part of the class. But after you've joined the class, after you're officially on the roster, from that point forward, you have to get everything done by the deadline. The other thing to keep in mind is, as I was saying, I'm not going to be checking my email on Sundays. I'm not going to be answering my phone on Sundays because I'm not going to be working. That's a day of rest. So if you have any questions about things, make sure you get them to me preferably by Friday, because if you email it to me Friday, I should check my email either Friday or Saturday to get back to you about that. But don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till Saturday 11 p.m. to try to email me or something like that. I will not take phone calls, nor will I check my email after about 10 p.m. at night. So just be aware of that. If you wait till the last minute, I may not be available to help you with something. Otherwise, please feel free to email me. I don't mind communicating with you at all. That's perfectly fine. As far as an online class, the attendance policy for an online class is weekly participation. So if you participate sometime that week, then that counts as your attendance for that week. If you do not participate, so you don't do the discussion board, you don't do the lab exercise, you don't email me, you in no way participate that week, then that's going to count as an absence. And the way that DBU does their absences is if you have more than 25% of the class time, which is 4 weeks, that you're absent, then you can potentially fail that class regardless of how you do on anything else. So keep that in mind, that you need to be participating each week, and if there are 4 weeks, either all at one time or scattered throughout the semester where you do absolutely nothing in the online class, then those are considered absences and you could fail the class, and I don't want that to happen. So please keep that in mind. Please participate each week. Your grade for the class is a combination of the lab exercises, the quizzes, the discussion boards, which is kind of a class participation, the exams, the final exam. So there is a specific outline in the syllabus that goes through exactly how your grade is calculated for the class. I would recommend that you read that and read through the syllabus very, very carefully because there's a lot of important information in there. It will help you as you go through the class if you've read the syllabus. In fact, if you ask me a question and it's already answered in the syllabus, I'm probably just going to tell you to read the syllabus because it's already answered there. I also have a frequently asked questions page under the Begin Here section on Blackboard, and that goes through a lot of commonly asked questions for the class, so kind of peruse that. If you have a question, it might be answered under there. And you can always email me as well. That's always an option. All right, so as we begin this semester, my prayer is that this class would help you understand the evidence for a Creator, and that you would understand the wonderful world that He's made for us and all the details involved in that, and that you would also realize that we're supposed to be good stewards of that creation. I'm so glad you're joining me. I will be praying for you this semester. If you have any specific prayer requests throughout the semester, please email me or post them on the prayer request board in the class. Thank you.